In West Africa, Burkina Faso, the land of upright people, has begun a bold transformation under Captain Ibrahim Traore. His rise in 2022 marked not just a leadership change, but a rejection of insecurity and foreign dependence, echoing the revolutionary spirit of Thomas Sankara. Over the past 3 years, Burkina Faso has reclaimed its narrative, resources, and future, despite immense challenges. We'll explore the principles guiding Traore's government, the resistance it faced, and the pivotal moment when the United Nations recognized its path. This is a story of self-determination, resilience, and a new blueprint for African nations seeking true independence. At the heart of Traore's leadership is the Traore Doctrine, placing sovereignty, self-reliance, and security at the core of Burkina Faso's agenda. It's about reshaping the nation's identity and future. Burkina Faso now charts its own course, free from foreign interference. In 2023, the government expelled French troops, signaling a new era of self-determination. The government nationalized key mining assets and built its first gold refinery, ensuring the nation's wealth benefits its people. Security is a priority. The Volunteers for the Defense of the Fatherland empower citizens to defend their homeland. Burkina Faso has forged new alliances, forming the Alliance of Sahel States with Mali and Niger for collective security. The Traore Doctrine inspires pride, unity, and a renewed sense of national purpose for the Burkinabe people. Traore's government faced immediate condemnation from Western nations and international bodies, who demanded a return to constitutional order. Sanctions and threats of isolation followed, with media branding the new leadership as another military junta. Critics focused on the power transfer, overlooking the previous government's failure to protect citizens from relentless attacks. Human rights groups warned of potential crackdowns, but many in Burkina Faso saw these concerns as paternalistic and out of touch with the nation's existential crisis. The pressure only strengthened the government's resolve, reinforcing the belief that foreign powers sought control, not stability. Burkina Faso's leaders responded to international pressure with a sharp critique of the global order, refusing to remain silent in the face of injustice. They challenged the hypocrisy of the so-called rules-based system, pointing out double standards that shape international relations, where African nations are often criticized for defending their interests. At the United Nations, they demanded to know why African voices are sidelined and sovereignty undermined. Traore's speeches inspired unity and hope, calling for dignity and control over Africa's resources. Burkina Faso's struggle became a symbol of resistance, inspiring others to demand a fairer world. In 2025, the UN made a historic shift, offering full support for Burkina Faso's chosen path. The Secretary General condemned double standards, insisting that sovereignty must be respected everywhere. He declared, "Burkina Faso is not a failed state. It is a sovereign one," reframing the government's actions as legitimate self-defense. This was a powerful vindication, transforming Burkina Faso from pariah to symbol of righteous resistance. The UN's new stance dismantled the narrative of isolation and provided international legitimacy. For the first time, the world's highest diplomatic body stood with an emerging African nation's principled stand. It marked a turning point in global diplomacy. The UN's endorsement recognized real progress in Burkina Faso. Security improved dramatically by late 2024. Government control expanded from 40% to 70% of the country. This allowed massive resettlement of displaced families and the reopening of markets and schools. Children returning to classrooms became a symbol of national rebirth. These gains were fueled by a surge in national pride and unity as citizens rallied to defend their homeland. The government's message of self-reliance inspired collective resilience. Progress was not just military. It was the work of a mobilized, determined people. Burkina Faso began to rebuild brick by brick. Alongside security gains, Burkina Faso launched bold economic reforms to break free from dependency. The government nationalized mining operations and built a gold refinery, keeping profits at home. Reforms improved tax collection and reduced corruption, funding social programs and security. A push for food sovereignty aimed to make the nation self-sufficient and resilient to global shocks. Even the IMF and World Bank acknowledged Burkina Faso's robust growth and a drop in extreme poverty. Inflation rose, but the government maintained growth and reduced poverty amid war, a remarkable feat. These successes challenge the belief that African nations must follow Western economic prescriptions. Burkina Faso proved an independent path is possible and prosperous. Despite progress and UN support, Traore's government faces criticism over suspended elections and alleged crackdowns. Reports of conscripting critics into the VDP are seen by opponents as silencing dissent. The government frames these accusations as part of a coordinated smear campaign by external powers. Officials argue that, in wartime, exceptional measures are necessary for survival. For the government, security and sovereignty outweigh temporary restrictions on liberties. The UN's new stance acknowledges that nations fighting for survival can't be judged by peacetime standards. Many see continued criticism as remnants of a neo-colonial mindset, unwilling to accept African self-determination. The United Nations endorsement of Burkina Faso marks a pivotal turning point for Africa and the global South. African voices are now recognized on the world stage, opening new opportunities for development and true sovereignty. Burkina Faso's example inspires other nations to pursue self-reliance and unity. President Traoré's call for dignity and justice now echoes in global institutions, demanding a fairer international system. Burkina Faso's journey is a story of hope and resilience, showing the world that unity and determination can shape a new, confident Africa, ready to chart its own destiny.